because in just about 31 hours, we are going to hopefully grab this moment to capture the world's attention. NASA's Artemis II test flight set to carry 4 astronauts around the moon. So joining us this morning here from Kennedy Space Center in Florida is Katie Oriti, the manager of Orion European Service Module Integration with the Orion program. NASA expert. That's how we know you, Katie. Thanks for joining us here this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Okay, so let's just start with the basics for people who have been under a rock for the past couple of months or years. What is the purpose of Artemis II and these 4 astronauts as they head towards the moon?
Yeah, absolutely. So Artemis II is a test flight. It's the first crewed test flight of the Orion spacecraft with a Space Launch System rocket. We flew Artemis I a couple years ago. That was an uncrewed test flight to do an initial checkout of our systems. Now, before we do more complex missions like landing on the surface of the moon for the Artemis program, we first want to do this test flight with crew to check out things like our crew and life support systems to make sure that we can sustain a habitable environment in the Orion crew module for the duration of a 10-day mission out to the moon and back. So it's a really important flight to make sure that we get good data, good indication of the performance of our spacecraft with our 4 astronauts on board before we do really exciting and more complex missions.
What can you tell us about the crew, the 4-person crew, and what is training like for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So our 4 crew members are Reed Weissman. He's the commander. He flew on the International Space Station prior to this mission. Victor Glover, who is the pilot, he piloted Crew 1, which was a SpaceX launch, and also went to the International Space Station. Christina Cook, she's flown to the International Space Station multiple times. She's the mission specialist. And Jeremy Hansen, who is our Canadian astronaut, also serving as a mission specialist. This is actually his first mission, so first time in space, and he gets to go to the moon. Really cool. So for the past year or so, the crew has been going through a really extensive training to make sure that they understand the spacecraft that they're about to board and take out to the moon, going through procedures to make sure they understand how things are supposed to work, what they're supposed to be doing. They have a very regimented schedule and timeline. So they've been practicing all that, so they have it down like science before they execute the mission. And leading up to the launch, they've been in quarantine, so we want to make sure that they're very healthy before they journey out to the moon. So they've been in quarantine, going through the procedures some final times, again, just to make sure that they're totally ready to go, and spending some quality time with their families before they embark on the 10-day mission.
All right, and what will they see on this 10-day mission?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. That's a really unique aspect, right, of having crew on board. So they will see really great imagery of the Earth initially. So when we launch from Kennedy Space Center, they will spend about 24 hours in Earth orbit, and we'll do that to check out the systems on the Orion spacecraft and make sure everything looks good and ready to go before we send them on the way to their moon. As they're journeying towards the moon, the Earth is going to be getting smaller and smaller, and the moon is going to be getting bigger and bigger. And as they get close to the moon, the crew will be looking out their windows, looking at the surface of the moon. They've actually been trained by our NASA scientists to look for geographical features on the surface of the moon. So they're going to tell us what they see. And then I think probably the most exciting, and what I would encourage all of your viewers to follow along, is the Earth rise. So as the crew circles around the moon, they'll go towards the backside of the moon, and as they exit out of the backside of the moon, they will actually see the Earth rise from behind the moon. It'll be similar to the iconic images from the Apollo 8 mission. So I know that inspired a lot of the Apollo generation, and I hope it has the same effect, and that everyone will follow along for that Earthrise imagery before the crew comes back to Earth.
Oh my gosh, it is so just dramatic and overwhelming. It's amazing. And Artemis II, real quick, the preparation for something like this, and then moving into future missions, what does it say about our preparations to eventually go to Mars?
Yeah, that is what the Artemis program is all about. It's about building on the foundation and what we learned from the Apollo programs and the International Space Station. Now, initially, our goal is to set up an enduring presence of humanity on the lunar surface for exploration and scientific purposes. But it'll also teach us a lot about what does it take to have humans living on another planetary body really far away from Earth, and we'll take all of that learning, all of that technological advancement, and apply that to things like eventually getting humans out to Mars and onto the surface.
Amazing. Anything else that we should know this morning, Katie?
I would just tell everyone this is a very historic moment. It's laying the groundwork for what's ahead for the future. So I hope everyone will follow along and know that this is also your mission. This is your crew. They say all the time that they're doing this for all of humanity. So it's not just for NASA and the employees that are working on it. It's for all of you as well. So I hope you'll follow us and share in our excitement with what's to come.
We certainly will here in Charlotte. So, Katie, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We will be following along with our own Brad Panovich as they are going to cover the launch tomorrow, about 2 hours prior to the first launch window. Our own Brad Panovich, as well as Betsy Kling, will do our own countdown to the Artemis II launch, which, by the way, is now over 31 hours away as we count down with them. The first launch window will happen tomorrow around 6:24 p.m. And then the Artemis countdown, Return to the Moon countdown show here on WCNC Plus will start around 4:30, 2 hours prior to that first launch window.